there are currently two types of people in the world right now. Those who were holding Nvidia Monday, January 27th, and those who were not. If you haven't heard, the entire US stock market was down $1 trillion as of Monday, January 27th. The second largest company in the US, Nvidia, lost over $400 billion in market cap in just one day, a new historical record. It wasn't just Nvidia though. All stocks that had an AI or semiconductor focus lost a ton of money. Nvidia leading the charge though at a drop of up to 17% on Monday. Absolutely insane. And you might be wondering, why did all of this happen? Well, keep watching and I'll explain. Now, all of this happened because of an AI application called DeepSeek. DeepSeek is not something new though. It released in December of 2023, but its newest open source model was released January 20th of this year. Now, all that open source means in terms of AI is that the code being used, the algorithms being used, is open to the public, meaning that multiple developers across the world can edit this code at the same time, and it's for the public to see. So this new model that is super efficient, super powerful, we can now see our eyes on it. Long story short, basically what happened is that this application came out and did everything that ChatGPT could do, if not a little bit better, with much less hardware. If you're not familiar already, AI models are used and backed by a lot of GPUs, or graphics processing units. I did a whole video on Nvidia and I touched topics like GPUs and what they are in a video, so I'll link that up somewhere up here. GPUs are great for parallel processing, meaning that if you have a lot of little tasks going on at the same time, it can get all of them done at the same time very fast. Like with AI, it's all algorithms and calculations, and the more it can do at the same time, the faster you get responses, the more accurate they are. So you can see that there's a huge need for high-powered GPUs. That's why companies like Nvidia, AMD, Intel, Taiwan semiconductor stocks are doing so well, because the future of AI and data centers is based off of their GPUs. So, what am I trying to say? DeepSeek came out with an AI model that ran really well, and it was using really basic, cheap Nvidia GPUs. This may seem like a good thing because it's super efficient, but what it's showing the general public is saying that these AI models that are taking so much money in funding and investing can be done with a lot less money. This gives retail investors the question of, if we can have this powerful of an AI system with lower processing units, then why do we need to spend money on the higher cost ones? Now, this specifically affects companies like Nvidia. Why would you then go buy a very high-end GPU if you could buy a lower-end one to get the job done? These high-end GPUs is what makes Nvidia money. You see, these are their highest margin products, meaning if they're losing out on sales of that, they're going to lose out on a lot of sales overall quarter over quarter. So all in all, the problem is that DeepSeek came out with a new open source model that is as good, if not better, than ChatGPT or other AI sources for less cost. I'm going to get into some nerdy specifics. You see, DeepSeek claims that they spent $6 million training their AI model. That seems like a lot of money, but it's not, considering that Microsoft has invested $13 billion into OpenAI. So $6 million is a whopping fraction of the cost of $13 billion. DeepSeek also supposedly used 2,048 of the H800 Nvidia graphics processors. This is where stuff gets really interesting. You know, I keep saying the word supposedly, and I read this web article by this engineer, and I'll leave it linked down below in the description if you want to give it a read, but he talks about how these numbers are a bit misleading. You see, it does take $6 million to run these this amount of GPUs at once to train their model, but the issue is you have to run these models multiple times, meaning that's $6 million every single time. Also, the cost of owning over 2,000 of those chips is somewhere between $50 to $100 million, let alone their investment fund has a bunch of GPUs that we don't know about. You see, it's really hard to speculate right now because of how the US is in this race against the whole world in AI. Everyone's trying to be the best and the fastest and the smartest. And the issue is that things can get misleading really fast. Like I mentioned earlier, Nvidia has great GPUs, and the US has actually restricted its exports to other countries of these GPUs. So China can only actually have a certain amount and certain type of GPUs from Nvidia or other GPU companies to limit them in their race in AI. So a lot of people are speculating that they're actually using very high-end Nvidia chips, and they just can't say they are because it would be illegal to do so. It would out them, and they would actually get fined and tariffed by the US a ton. So with all the nerdy numbers out of the way, here's what happened in the market. Investors found out that you could do better with less, meaning less sales for Nvidia. The entire market collapsed, $1 trillion in a day. Nvidia, the second largest company in the US, lost $400 billion in a single day, 17%. No one in their right mind can tell me the second largest company in the US can just be diminished by 17% in a single day and it be considered fair. No, not at all. This is pure emotional investing. It's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. FUD is what we call it. This is not a smart strategic pullback that we see that happens every so often. This is not a healthy dip that we see every so often. This was something called emotional panic selling. There's this thing called the Jevons paradox, and it relates directly to this problem of efficiency. What this paradox is saying is that when a product or a process becomes more efficient, the actual amount of use it gets does not lower. For example, I work in the garage door industry, and if we're running a plant of garage doors, and this line of garage doors costs $100 million to buy, okay, and I have $100 million to spend, and it's today, and I'm gonna buy one of these lines. If I find out tomorrow that this line is now $50 million, the paradox goes as this, that I wouldn't buy one line, that I would actually buy two lines. Meaning that yes, it is more efficient, it is cheaper, but the overall spending did not change. This directly happened with fuel. In the 1900s, cars became way more fuel efficient. You would think that, wow, we would use way less fuel now in the year 2025. Well, guess what? We don't. We started driving more. We started flying more because it became more cost effective. So just because cars got more fuel efficient doesn't mean that fuel actually became consumed less. That's the paradox. So I described the issue, I described the market, I described some nerdy numbers. Now let's get on to what's super important, and that is, what does Ruben think? Because that's the most important thing in this video. First things first, I think that China is lying through their teeth. I think they're using way better processors, way more than them, and it took them a lot more money than they actually said they used. This to me is exactly like the race to the moon. Everyone was trying to say what they were ahead in to try to get the other country to freak out, to spend more money, to maybe do something reckless because of the lack of time. Well, let me tell you something. America, or companies like Nvidia that operate in America, have very, very deep pockets, and they have very, very smart engineers. I think that this issue, this little jab from DeepSeek, is something that is really, really good for our economy. Competition is beautiful for business. I promise you that everyone at Nvidia right now is buckling up because they want to put more money into research and development. They want to put more money into whatever they're doing so that way they can produce a better product faster, or let alone all the things that are under the radar that they haven't even unveiled yet. Those things, now that they think that they have a competitor next to them, will only increase efficiency, production, costs, research and development. All of this stuff will only increase because of the competition. Here's where my thought goes to. If China can make an AI model with low-powered GPUs, you take that algorithm and you put high-powered GPUs like Nvidia's, then you have an even better open-source large language model AI system. If you can do this much with a little, imagine how much you can do with a lot, is what I'm trying to say. This does not show that we don't need Nvidia, we don't need these large GPU companies. It shows us that we do need them because of how much more we can do. Computing is just getting started. Supercomputing, AI processing, this stuff is just now a beginning of the bell curve. It's beginning of the exponential growth of what this looks like. Now, all this happened on Monday the 27th. Today is Tuesday the 28th, the day that I'm recording this video. Nvidia is up over 8% as of right now, and you see, I bought a lot more Nvidia when it tanked. I don't believe that the second largest company in the US market can drop almost 20% and for it to be justified. I saw this as a moment where I could buy more shares of Nvidia at a discounted price because of other emotional, immature investment options by other people. So I actually bought some options, some long calls, and I bought a bunch more shares of Nvidia because when I'm gonna look at the Nvidia chart in 10 years, because I'm a long-term investor, I'm gonna look at the chart and there's gonna be a little blip. And that little blip is gonna be Monday the 27th. You see, this is no reason to panic, no reason to freak out, because I know that GPUs will be needed for the far, far future. We're just getting started with computing. We're just getting started with parallel processing. This stuff is essential and this stuff is needed. I did a whole video on Nvidia. I linked it below in the description, but I'll also put it up here again. Go ahead and watch the video. It's a great video. It'll give you exactly what I think about Nvidia, how I bought, when I bought, something that I truly believe in for the long run. So I have no problem it going down 20%, even though it hurt my pockets a little bit. I threw more money at it because that was just a Nordstrom's anniversary sale for Nvidia. So you know what? I bought that up, ate it up, and I'm gonna make some more money on it like I did today. So it's gonna be great. I can't wait to revisit this in 2 to 3 weeks and see how much I'm up. And if I'm not, then I'll make another video and we'll go from there. But with that being said, we are all in this boat right now, and there might be waves crashing over on certain days, but the truth is that where we are going is towards financial freedom, is towards deep pockets, it's on r/Wall Street Bets. We're gonna make it on that Reddit subreddit. It's gonna be beautiful. I'm telling you guys, look at a company. I preach this all the time. Find a company that you believe in that will be there in 10, 20, 30 years. Invest in that company. It doesn't matter when, just do it consistently. That's what I'm doing with Nvidia. And so when you see opportunities like this, capitalize on them. It might be a different stock tomorrow. It could be Ford. It could be Peloton. If you believe in it, invest into it. So I encourage you guys, watch some of my other videos on investing for beginners, budgeting, stuff like that, of that sort. If you have any questions, I'm really active on Threads and on Instagram, @RubenUzun. Go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Leave a like down below if you found this video informative. I post videos on finance and stocks all the time, so go ahead, leave a like down below, comment if you have any questions, and if you bought some Nvidia, comment down below as well. But with all that being said, keep investing, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.